Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Gemini in mid-October 2019. What is up, Gemini? How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. All right, Gemini, last of the mids, which is technically kind of the end of the month, but, say love you guys. I tried to do these last week, technical issues. The weekend got crazy with life stuff. And so now it's the 22nd of October, and this is your mid-message. You're the last sign I'm doing. So apologies if this is coming out, in your opinion, a little late. But in my opinion, better late than never, considering that it's free content, huh? All right, guys. Happy Halloween if you're going to be celebrating on the 31st. Please be safe. Please be happy. Please have fun. I don't care what you're doing or who you're doing it with. Just make sure you're safe and you have a good time. All right, yeah. Gemini, I have shuffled off camera. That is your main spread there. That is a little crooked, and it's going to bother me. There we go. And now that means these are crooked. Something like that. Okay. That's your main spread. I will shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. Please look in the description box for the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. I put it there if you want to use it. If you don't, I appreciate that as well. Anyway, also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal with me. If you have a question before you actually place an order with me, feel free to email me at the same email address, and I will answer you as soon as I can. All right, anything else? Yes, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, leave, and do all that fun stuff that YouTube allows you to do. Help support the channel, okay? All right, Gemini, let's get into it. Please show me Gemini's outcome for mid-October 2019. Gemini's outcome for mid-October 2019. Please show me. Whoa, did that? Okay. Was there another one? No. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. All right, let's go ahead and flip everything that came face down for you. Alrighty then. And that is all kinds of sideways or slanted, I should say. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. I'm pleased. Let's do it. All right, please show me where Gemini is in mid-October 2019. Please show me Gemini in mid-October 2019. Please show me. Please show me Gemini, mid-October 2019. Okay. All right, we got it. This was interesting to get to this point, Gemini, because you were very hard to pin down. And then I get this card, and maybe I see why. Coming into mid-October, Gemini, you come in with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Show you that card upright so you can get used to it. But, like I said, in reverse. So, hard to pin down. Hard to really see whether or not you're coming or going. You might feel this way. Other people might have this impression of you. Aloof, detached, amok, like running amok, okay? There is a lack of consensus. Is that the word you want? Consensus? Okay. There's a lack of consensus with something in your life, whether this is something internal for you or whether this is an external situation or relationship that we're talking about. I'm not really sure just yet. But everything that I've said there, about being aloof, detached, or hard to pin down, stuff like that is very interesting to be attached to the Two of Pentacles, because the Two of Pentacles normally talks about having to make choices or having, more than one priority or option that is important to you, something like that. Maybe that's why you're detached and aloof, is because you do know if something needs to be decided on or something needs to be chosen, and instead of choosing between the two, you choose to not choose. A lot of ch-ch-ch in here right now. But you see what I mean? So like, if you're knowing or you're involved in a situation that requires you to act one way or another, to choose one thing or another, or to make a left or a right and that be the end of it, and instead of choosing to go left or to choose to go right, you choose to stay where you are, or you choose to turn around and walk away from making a choice, that becomes your choice. And that can give the impression of being aloof, detached, hard to pin down, unfocused, or what did I just say? Oh God, what was the word? Consciousness? What? I don't remember the word I just used, and I made a big deal about it because they put it in my head. But whatever that C word was, that is at play here. Now, Gemini. Note the word on the card if you didn't already. The word is change. Oh my God, that's out of focus. Change, yeah? But in the reverse. So there might be a decision before you, Gemini, that once made will change your circumstances, change a dynamic between you and another person, change something for you internally, for you personally. But again, your lack of making a decision, or if it's not a lack of, your inability to, maybe you're confused, maybe you don't have all the details, maybe you feel one is not better than the other, maybe you're in a rock and a hard place, and so choosing would just sort of be like a damned if I do, damned if I don't. I don't know. But change hangs in the balance, because once the decision is made, once you go down one path versus another, something is irreparable. Ooh, irreparable. Interesting. Irreparable. Who just had a reading like this? Somebody just had a reading like this. Was it Aquarius? Might have been Aquarius. Who is the other one? I don't think it was Cancer. No. I think it feels like it was Aquarius. I don't know if Aquarius is going to come into play here. I'm not looking down at the board, so I don't really know. But there's this energy. I have felt it recently in a reading in one of the generals, and it feels like, again, if I do this, all this other stuff is going to happen. If I say that, or if I go this way, then all those other doors will close. Maybe that's what is kind of giving me the vibe of I've been here before. Because for you, Gemini, and if it is Aquarius is another air sign, so the qualities or the elementals, they share certain qualities. And the thing about air signs is variety of life. Maybe not the spice of life, but the variety of life. Spice of life, you might hang that with the fire signs. But the variety of life, the ability to experience or to observe more than one thing. Not at the same time, but just in general. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that in sequence, maybe. In some type of, to be deprived of experience, of choice, of knowledge in some cases, or connection, to not have that be on the table for you, Gemini, is quite distressing. Or at least it can be. It can be distressing, it can be disappointing, it can be frustrating or maddening in some cases. And so to choose one means to ignore the other choices, or to say no to the other choice. And Gemini can sometimes struggle with that. I want both. Okay? You're a Gemini, you're a sign of duality, and you're mutable air. Very important to have options. And sometimes that can be kind of, you know, a dirty word, especially in like a romantic sense, to have options. That can be a dirty word. That can be quite insulting or offensive or hurtful to people, to say, I want options, or I would like to have options here, right? In other cases, it's great. Like in business, I have options. You know, if you're trying to find investors, or you're you know, people are headhunting you because you have a specialty, or you have a certain skill, you're an artist or something like that, and people want to work with you. Like if you were a music producer or even a singer, right? And this producer over here wants to work with you, this other person wants to collaborate with you, and they're both really great. It's wonderful to have those options, right? So there's a fear, maybe not a fear, but there's a reluctance to choose because it isolates all your options. If you choose one or the other, or the third or the fourth, or however many options you have in front of you, it can be literally two or more than. So Gemini, you have it on your table, your plate, your desk, that this is what I have to do. I have to choose something here. Choose them, choose that, choose her, choose him, whatever. But you do not. You are not doing it. So you just sit there and you kind of look at your options. You look at them some more. Turn back to option number 2. You're like, huh, okay. You gloss over option 1. Okay. Go back to 2. You know, it's like you just look. You're just looking. You're not actually doing anything. I swear that was like something in Aquarius. Now, what happens next? Okay, now I see where Aquarius is. Aquarius is here twice at least that I see quickly. Now, what else is happening for you though? Oh shit, I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Alright, Capricorn, I apologize. I had a little bit of a sneezing fit. Anyway, you don't need to be bothered with the details. So, what else is happening here? So, aloof, detached, wanting all the choices to remain where they are. And I think we're here. Yeah. Well. Oh, no. Okay, thank you. I think that's how it's... Okay. I hate when I have to take a break in the middle of it. So, above where you start, Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So, like I said, that I feel there is energetically an overlap with an Aquarius. If you're not dealing with an Aquarius, or you don't have Aquarius in your chart in any type of way, I'm not saying you should watch that video, but if you feel inclined to watch it, go ahead and watch it, because there is some similar energy here of being inactive, not moving, and that has some kind of weight on your shoulders, or it's in some way burdensome to you, or in some way will become burdensome, this inaction. But I can, whatever. So, Queen of Swords for you, Gemini. I feel like this is someone who is expecting you to take action. Yeah? This is someone who, if they're not expecting you to take action, how am I meant to differentiate that? Because some are expecting you to take action. Okay, so some people are expecting you to take action and like watch you do it, like go and choose to do something and they just kind of stay behind and observe. So I'm feeling like boss or like mom kind of figure, like somebody who literally watches over you. In other cases, this person is expecting you to choose and your choice will affect them, come towards them, have some impact on them. So it's easier for me to just tell you, for the one that's watching over you, like in some cases, as this queen is on clouds, that will apply to someone who has passed over in like a few cases, not many. But a few cases, this is someone who is watching over you from a spiritual or from the other side, if you want to think of it that way. And that's just what it is. You might just need to hear that. Like, that might help you make a decision, or that might help you feel more at peace with making a decision. So that's kind of how that is addressed. In other cases, that person is here in the 3D. Like I said, sort of like a boss or like a motherly type, or older sister, older cousin, I'm saying female pronouns. It can be a male. But the person would be definitely critical of what you're doing. Not the crossed over entity or soul, right? Because in my estimation, when you cross over, you don't give a shit about what happens here to a certain extent. You're not judging whether it's good or bad. You're just here you're always wishing to help and support those of us that are still here. Okay. That's just my personal belief. But if you feel that your angels, your guides, or whatever from another plane of existence judges you, fine. The judging and being critical, that's for those that are here. And they're not attached to the outcome of what you're choosing. They're not attached to any type of, they really don't care what you're doing, but they are judging. So again, it's like that mom, boss type of deal. This person, like I said, would want the best for you, but they're kind of expecting the worst. They're kind of expecting, again, if this person is here in the 3D, right? This person wants to see good things happen for you, Gemini, but they're like, but given your track record or given the situation at hand, they might know, your choices are kind of crappy. And they're like, this is, life has handed you lemons. You better go ahead and start making that lemonade. It's like wanting the best, but expecting the worst, of you or of the situation at hand. Ultimately, even despite that critical demeanor, and maybe they're a little aloof and detached themselves, because the Queen of Swords can definitely be that. She can definitely be, sort of above it all, like, this is beneath me. This is not for me to really get involved in. That can be aloof, that can be attached, right? Or cold and distant. But despite all that, this person, male or female, still cares that you end up in a good spot. Okay, so this person doesn't wish you any ill will. How you relate to them or how they relate to your reading is, I think that there could be some type of advice or some type of insight you could gain from this person, but you would have to go to them. As much as this person is critical or they might be judging you, they also allow you to do what you need to do. They might tell you once, I think this is a bad idea, and then that's it. They're not going to be that hounding type. They're not going to be that, now didn't I tell you? Why are you doing that? Hey, listen to me. They're not going to be up your butt telling you over and over again how much they think what you're doing is ending up going down the wrong path. They will say it once and then let you decide on your own. That's how cold and cold and detached and aloof this person is. I'm going to say this. I'm only going to say it once. Boom. And that's it. So if you want further advice, or if you care to need them to repeat themselves, you're going to have to hunt them down, and you're going to have to be like, listen, I'm in a pinch. I'm in a bind. I really don't know what to do. Can you, share with me your opinion? Can you share with me your insight? Can you share with me what you think might be the better choice here? Because I'm stuck and I have no idea what I want, or I have no idea which way to turn. And I think this person can, even if they're related to you, they can kind of give you a pretty good objective standpoint or perspective. They're icy. They're not necessarily the kindest with their words. They probably are very sharp-tongued, right? So they're quick to the point, very articulate. But underneath it all, there's still like this, and I care about you, Gemini. I want you to succeed. I want you to have good things in life. I want you to be able to, do X, Y, and Z with your life. You know, they're supportive, but from afar. And given that they're above your starting position, like I said, that means above in some of your minds, like up in heaven, okay? In other situations, they could be above you, like I said, as if they were a boss or a mother or someone older in your family, maybe even just an older friend, you know, somebody from high school who graduated like, you know, 3 years before you did, something like that. And besides them being above you in those ways, they're above you as in your consciousness. You think of this person. So maybe you guys have lost touch. Maybe you haven't spoken to them in quite a while. And so there might be tentativeness on your end to reach out to them because, and not to say it necessarily you guys haven't spoken because of bad blood. Maybe, you know, you're both adults. Maybe you got busy in life. I don't know. But maybe you haven't spoken in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even years. But you really want this person's insight. You really want them to weigh in on your situation. And you reach out to them tentatively. You're not sure of the reception you'll receive. I feel it would be mostly positive because, again, as much as this Queen of Swords, the archetype of that tarot card is that this person can hold a grudge, I really don't feel this person holds a grudge. I feel that whatever, like I said before, to describe the aloofness, I'm above all this. Like, that's how this person really feels. Like, I'm so above whatever drama you're dealing with, Gemini. You know, they might be a little conceited. They might be a little bit egotistical. But they feel like whatever you bring to them is, like, so, like, petty. Or just, like, why are you sweating this? Like, why are you even upset? Here's what you should do. Clearly, this is what you should do. And they'll just leave it at that. You know, so you're kind of vexed and confused and unsure of what to do, and then you tell it to this person, they're like, oh, do that, or choose this, or choose that person. Obviously you don't want to date him, he's blah 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 blah. And they give you a laundry list of why, you know, guy number 1 is just not the guy. Go with guy number 2. And you're like, well, I kind of like them both. And they're like, well, continue to date them both. I don't, you know, this person is like so removed from the outcome in like how it plays out in reality. All they want you to do is be happy. So if you say to them, well, I kind of want to date both guys, I think I might be polyamorous, or, you know, polyamorous, right? Yeah. And they're like, okay, go ahead. I'm telling you, I think guy number 1 is, or guy number 2 is better than guy number 1, but if you want them both, go ahead. Because it's no sweat off this person's back what ends up happening in your love life, especially if they're your friend. Like, they don't care. I mean, they care, but they don't care. You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't impact them directly. Okay? What else is happening for you, Gemini? Well, you might have some, hold on. Stop that. That was like a jarbling of information here. Gemini, is there something here that is returning, or like a cycle in your life? You've been down this road before. Okay, you've been down this road before. This is a pattern. Thank you. Death. Is it flashing? No, it's not flashing. But it will be flashing soon. The little numbers here on my camera. Now, death, rebirth, a major arcana for Scorpio. You might be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. I mean, and I just what deck was I using? This deck? No, I was using another deck. Was that the damn Aquarius reading with the Santa Muerte deck? Maybe. All right, Gemini, I apologize. I knew it would cut off shortly after I noticed that. Anyway, death, rebirth. Again, something was in Aquarius. I think it was Aquarius's reading. I could be wrong. But there was something I just recently spoke about, death and rebirth, and how, you know, that transition between the two phases, or between, you know, it's a transitionary period for something to die, or even a person to die and then be reborn into something else, is sometimes maybe not seamless, but hard to notice, hard to observe moment, especially, when we're talking about a person. Some of us believe as soon as you die, that's it. Blank screen, fade to black, that's the end. Others believe you die, you transition into something else, you go somewhere else, right? But if we think more about situations and circumstances or even relationships, which I think for some of you, this is going to turn out to be a relationship thing, there's this idea for you that you struggle with, Gemini, which is to let go and then understand you receive something else. Does that make sense? Clean that up. I asked, does that make sense? And then I'm like, nope, it doesn't. Clean that up. Okay. What you may be struggling with, Gemini, is to realize once you choose, because some of you think to make a choice is to initiate the concept or the idea of death, which is I've chosen person A or guy number one. Guy number two is completely off the table. And that idea of going back to number two in case number one doesn't go, like that whole prospect is dead, which in most circumstances you choose to date one person over the other. That kind of is the whole deal, right? But you're fixated on that means I'm locked in to guy number one. There's something here about like not wanting to let go of choice. Because again, there's like this thing of I'm going to be locked into my decision. And again, I said that in the beginning about Gemini's not liking no options. I think your concept, how you interpret or understand choice needs to change. Because after you walk through, let's say it was like a house, like a mansion, like a huge mansion, right? Tons of rooms, or a palace. You go through one door, and you think, Gemini, your concept is I pass through this door, I'm in that room forever. No, that room has 2 other doors in it. And maybe the next door after one door has 4 doors in it. Something like that. There are more choices to be made down the line. There's more opportunity. There's more expansion, something like that. But to commit to the initial act of choice between 2 or more things, you're already bemoaning and mourning not having those initial other 2 or 3 choices. Does that make sense? Like, just to, again, illustrate. Guy number 1. You don't, your friend is like, don't choose guy number 1. No, choose guy number 2. He's better. So you choose guy number 2. Now, while you're with guy number 2, as most people would, you'll be normal about it. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a fun time with him, blah, blah, blah. But something in the back of your mind with this death and rebirth card is just like, oh my God, I wonder what guy number 1 would have done if he was on a date with me right now. You constantly are thinking about what would have happened if I went the other route. And you therefore ignore or don't appreciate that you've been reborn into a new situation that has new choices. Does that make sense? Like, again, I wish I could explain it better than a mansion with multiple doors. Man. It's so weird because again, that whole, what did I say, variety of life? I think that's the issue. Is that you feel when you choose one path, one person, whatever, that you get latched in to something that therefore doesn't create death and rebirth can, and yes, okay. 8th house Scorpio can be a house of creation or recreation. Yes, recreation. Thank you. You feel like you choose one way and there is no chance of being given further choices, whether that be in new partners. If we're talking about a relationship, you might choose guy number 2 and you might date for a few months and then he says, I was thinking about polyamory. What do you think about it? You're like, oh, yes! And you didn't know that initially when you met this guy. Does that make sense? Or you choose guy number 2. Maybe he's not into polyamory, but he is a world traveler or something like that, where you were afraid to get stuck in a humdrum monogamous relationship that's so routine and run of the mill. I'm only using this for illustration. If this is not romantic for you, please try and take parts out and apply it to your story. But you were afraid to get locked into something that was so standard, regular, boring, whatever. This guy on paper might seem boring, or in the first couple of dates and interactions you have with him, but as you get to know him through time, there's a recreation, or there's a rebirth in what you understand about, or what you're able to appreciate in a relationship with him. He loves to travel. So even though I'm still, rolling around in hotel beds with the same guy for the next 6 months of my life, I've been to San Antonio, I've been up to Maine, we went out to Seattle, and then next month we're going up to Toronto, and next summer we're thinking of going to Vegas just for blah, 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 blah. And it's just like this person keeps your interest up even though they're the same person. Whereas before you thought, if I'm with the same person, I will not experience the plethora of life. But now I have so many, oh God, I think you get it. I think now I was able to get it. And there was some kind of fear about being locked into one choice that was going to be disappointing. I mean, it's still a possibility. Not all of you are going to meet somebody who, wants to travel the world or, visit every single, taco truck in America, Some of you are going to end up with that guy who just wants to, let's just stay home. We don't have to go anywhere. And that's going to drive you up a wall. I get it. Now, your final card in your main spread is the Wheel of Fortune. Here we go again. This is like another possible confirmation, because Wheel of Fortune deals with fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Again, maybe check out the Aquarius video, like skim through it. There might be something in there for you. Or if you know you're dealing with an Aquarius or you have Aquarius in your chart, it's worth a watch. Now, I think this attaches to the Death card. It really ignores your Two of Pentacles because this is a holding pattern. I don't feel much is going to change for you in that. Or rather, it's not here to affect the Two of Pentacles. This is to affect your perception of death, your perception of the energies and the archetypes that exist within the Death card, or Scorpionic energy, which again is about death, rebirth, and recreation, yeah? Also, House of Sex. So for those where this is romantic or about your dating life, absolutely, you will have, well, not that you will have, I think you would be encouraged to expand on what you have already perceived or conceived of when it comes to death and rebirth, sex and sexuality, or the ways in which you can use sex to connect to people and be intimate. There's a lot, and go Google 8th house if you don't know about it already, okay? Wheel of Fortune, also associated with, I neglected to say Sagittarius. It might be a Sagittarius in your life, but it's a general. It doesn't have to be any of those signs. But the Wheel of Fortune also will signal expansion. How we rewrite our own understanding, our own philosophy about life, or about a particular subject or about a particular subject matter. Yeah. You're encouraged to take the time. As you can see, there's like some signaling to time and clocks, right? So take your time and really reconsider what you think you know versus what you actually know. And vice versa, what you actually know to what you think you know. And expand upon those ideas. Hard to do if you're not really going to make any choices. And again, remember, I said no choice is a choice. I'm sure you've heard that before. I'm not some genius who just thought this up today. That is a concept, or that is a cliched phrase that has been used for eons, yeah? So no choice is a choice. So while you're sitting on your hands, going between bachelor number 1, bachelor number 2, bachelor number 58, whatever, allow yourself to see something from a wider perspective, Gemini. Might be you have to spend time by yourself contemplating this, or spend time with someone you trust. Could be the Queen of Swords. Time spent, because again, death is above that. Time spent thinking about what you feel about either your whole your whole complex about making choices. Maybe it's not just with love life. Maybe it's even just my final reference to movies or TV. The Good Place. That's a show that comes on right now. Well, I think it's in its last season. Anyway, there's a character on that show named Chidi. And his whole deal is being so paralyzed by choice. If that's you, if you're someone similar to Chidi, where making choices just like cripples you, and you feel caught between, well, if I do this, the pros and cons of both. Well, if I do this, then that happens, but if I do that, then this, and everything sounds good. Everything sounds like a viable choice, and you end up choosing nothing. You might want to consider why you do that. You might want to consider what is possibly the historical root of that in your life, and push past it. Because there's something about personal growth also with the Wheel of Fortune. Outcome, Gemini, for mid-October. 8 of Cups. Yikes. Indolence. Indolence, okay? Not happy. And I shouldn't say not happy, because it's more than not being happy. It's like being discontented. It's this feeling of, okay, I think I know what I'm doing, or I think I know what I need in my life. Let me go out there and get it. But you're kind of melancholy as you set out. I don't know where this guy is walking. He's walking towards the end of the pier. There doesn't seem to be a boat, and he's not wearing any, swimming gear, so I don't know what he plans to do there. But it is this feeling of being on this lone journey to find what's going to make you happy. It's not easy. A lot of emotions. We've got the moon in the sky. We've got all that water over or underneath the pier. So there's just this emotional overflow, or like a wading pool. What do you call that? It's not like overflow. I don't feel this is like it all bubbles up at once and you don't know what to do. I think it's just like you're just kind of like floating in the middle of water, floating in the middle of the ocean, floating in the middle of a lake. And like the shore is so far away. There's no boats, there's no life raft, there's no sharks, so you're okay. But it really feels like being submerged. Maybe submerged is the better word. And being adrift at the same time. I think you'll exist there because I really don't feel you're going to make any choices. If you do, good for you. And if you do make a choice, there's still this chance that you're like kicking yourself 2 seconds after you've made the choice. Like, maybe I should have chose the other person. Or maybe I should have chose door number 2. You know what I mean? Ultimately, though, as an outcome, your 8 of Cups says that you're on your way. You're actively looking. You're actively searching. You're actively trying to find out. 8s mean action, movement. Things are getting done. There's some activity going on somewhere. Yeah? So that's good. Progression is better than inaction, that's for sure. Because that's where you were in the beginning. And that's where your friend is observing you. Like, you're not going anywhere with that? Okay. You don't have to. Overall energy, Gemini, for mid-October is the Queen of Pentacles. Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You might be dealing with one of those signs, but you don't have to be. That's interesting. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Because this queen is bountiful, but she's out in this desert. And she's not even near the water and the palm tree. She's just out there with that ram or that goat. And she's holding on to her pentacle. So, just the artwork of this card alone makes me feel like you have something of value already. Queen holding the person holding the pentacle here. Male or female, no gender here. Holding this pentacle, but then not knowing where your oasis is, not knowing where your safe haven is, your palace if you're a queen, where your kingdom is. Maybe the ram, the hard-headed person, or the person with quite strong horns could be the Queen of Swords, who's like there to like nudge you along, like, hey, nummy, it's over there, get over there, you know? So there's this idea that the Queen of Pentacles has something that she values, and she nurtures that thing, whether that be your independence, your own money, your stability, whatever it is. This queen in this deck, I feel, in combination with your entire reading, Gemini, is a little bit off her game. I'm saying her only because it's a queen. I think this is you. I don't think this is someone outside of you. I think it's you, and you're not an earth sign, so there's no particular reason why I'm saying queen and you have to be female. So just to, again, clear that up. So you have something of value, your independence, your money, whatever, and you hold on to it. Perhaps in place of making this choice, you know? And that's the other thing. When you get to the queens and the kings, they're very established. They don't really want for much in life. So you might have been single for the longest time. Maybe you're super happy being single. But now you get back into the dating world, and now you have 2 great potential dates come across your dating app or hit you up in your Facebook Messenger, or, slide into your Instagram DMs, whatever. And now you're like, but I like being alone. I'm comfortable alone. And now 2 people want to take me on a date? What is this? What madness is this? What sorcery is this? Something like that. And you're guarded. This Queen of Pentacles in this deck is not as nurturing as other queens. Especially other Queen of Pentacles in other decks. This queen is lost in the desert. And really kind of, look, she's just like sitting there. She's not even trying to move. Trying to get to the oasis, trying to find her way back to her palace. She's just sitting there in the sand. Again, more inaction. So, Gemini, good luck. I don't really know what you're going to end up doing. I think there's some general advice here, but you know, tarot is not science, and tarot is not meant to predict. It's only to tap into the energy of the moment. And the energy of the moment says, you're not doing much. So have at it. Anyway, Gemini, that is your reading for mid-October. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. You can leave a comment letting me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read that. You can share the video, and of course you can subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Gemini, I will be back soon doing your November readings and then your mid-Novembers after that. And then, of course, no communication, particularly yours, or those who were dealing with Geminis, might not be your life, was a really big hit. So I'm going to do those again, but I'm probably going to do them in December. Anyway, what I do want to announce is that I will go live the week of Thanksgiving here in the States. I think that's the week of the 25th, November 25th. I will go live on the channel doing live readings for people who show up in the chat. I'm doing that as indicated that it's during Thanksgiving week to show thanks to my supporters here, to subscribers, to viewers, to clients, to everybody who shows up, who knows me and appreciates the work I do here, because I appreciate what you guys have done. There's been so much growth in the channel recently, a lot of great new clients, a lot of wonderful likes and comments, and looking at my analytics on YouTube, people are sharing my content, so I really do appreciate that. And so that's what Thanksgiving is all about, to show appreciation to those that you know and you love and you care, that you care for, and to share that camaraderie with people. So I want to give something back to everybody. So I will announce that and put a post up and, you know, set a premiere or a live time for it. And you'll see all that if you're subscribed. And if you're not, just come back and, you know, look around my channel and you'll find the information, okay? All right, Gemini, I really appreciate you guys taking your time to watch the video tonight. Take care.